Hey guys, I wanted to do an update since it's been a long time since I've done one. Uh, Things are changing really fast. I'm back on chemo now. My leg finally healed. You can see it here. It's, my surgeon said that it looks beautiful. um, I think it looks like crazy because it's just, I don't like scars like that. I have one more surgery, which is in about 7 weeks. Uh, he's got to take the spacer out, and it can't stay in there forever, which sucks because I don't want to go through that again. But he said that this time the bone will be able to reshape itself and heal properly, and with everything out, it will heal faster. Because now with the spacer that's in there now, there's something foreign in there anyway. So I'm just amazed that my body hasn't rejected that, because it rejected the beads, and the beads were made to stay in there. So that's that. I'm still transfusion dependent, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. Um, when it's low, it's really low, but it doesn't go low as fast as it used to. I guess it's because of the chemo. When I was on chemo the first time, I was not transfusion dependent, so I didn't experience the dip before the increase. It was just the increase in blood levels and stability. But I am on the full dose of Vidasa now. Before it was just the half dose, and I seem to be doing okay. I'm getting, some of the side effects that I had before. Nothing new, nothing major. I don't have an appetite, so I'm losing weight. In the last 2 weeks, I went from 178 to 164, I think. I don't know what I was the last time, when we moved up here. I gained some weight on the prednisone. I made mention of it, being on it for 2 months or 3 months and not gaining any weight, and then I started gaining weight after that. So I pretty much jinxed myself. Um, you can see I got a haircut. I actually got this done yesterday. It's not fixed, and it's kind of messed up because I have a hat on. But it's shade all the way around, and it's called an undercut. Uh, the feminine style for this cut is called the pompadom or pompadour or something. Pompadour, I think. Pompadom is a food, isn't it? Yeah. But it looked really cute when I got it done, but it needs to be trained. My hair doesn't do this naturally. It just kind of goes everywhere, so I need to have it trained. And that's going to take a lot of product and probably some bobby pins and all that. Plus, it needs some color, because it's just, yeah, my hair is pretty dark now. It's still considered blonde, but it's a dark blonde. See, that's my natural color. This is just, I mean, this is my natural color too, but like this here, these are not highlights. Um, my hair's always been that way. My roots have always been darker, and the hair itself, as it goes out, it gets lighter. I don't know what that's about. It was like that since I was a kid, so who knows? But anyway, everybody says they like it. they asked me if I got it professionally done or if I did it myself. I'm like, this is my natural color, so whatever. I was thinking like lavender or rose color or something like that. Maybe a light greenish, maybe blue, I don't know. Um, but I got this temporary spray stuff at CVS that I'm going to experiment with. And then if I like it, I might go back and get it professionally done if I have the money. So, yeah. I mean, it's just something that I'm trying to do for myself. So, oh yeah, and I can like put it over to the side too, but it's not trained to do that either. I just gotta, I just train it, spray it, put some hair glue on it, and my dad said it looks butch. He said, well, what he said was, it looks like a hairstyle that you would have for going out and trying to get other girls or trying to attract other girls. I'm like, so butch. He's like, yeah. I'm like, no. Like, this isn't style, Dad. But whatever. What does he know about style? Nothing. I don't care though. I mean, I said this last night to some friends that I don't care what people think. I did it for me and I like it, so that's all that matters. Whatever. Um, Overall, I'm feeling okay, I guess. Today, I'm kind of cramping, you know, that damn woman thing. My stomach, I don't think you can see it, but that's probably a good thing. Uh, I had posted some pictures on Instagram and Facebook where they had given me chemo in my stomach and it swelled up. It swelled up like a balloon, and it looked like someone had beat me, like literally beat the crap out of me, and it was really sore. And now it's healed pretty much. I got a little bit of bruising over here to the right, and a little bit underneath here. I can still see where it's, you know, a little bruise, and it's itching. So I know it's healing, but the swelling's gone down. Uh, doesn't hurt anymore. The only thing that really is bugging me right now is the new Lasta and the Aranest. And both of those are growth factors. Aranest is boosts the red blood cells, and Neulasta boosts the white blood cells. And both are given during chemo treatment. I was given Aranest before the chemo, but now I'm being given it on a more regular basis. Like, I think it's twice a week or something like that. But yeah, both of them make me hurt. They hurt me so bad. The Aranest hurts. I'm pretty sure that's what is making my back and my shoulders hurt. Obviously it's the bones because that's where your marrow is. But the Aranest is not nearly as severe as the pain with the Neulasta. And with that is, with the Aranest, it's just my back and my shoulders. Usually my right shoulder. And it's kind of a vague ache. Like, I can't really pinpoint it where it is. And it doesn't keep me from sleeping or, anything like that. And I can pretty much perform my daily activities, like taking the dog out or doing the dishes or whatever, clean my room, whatever it is. I can drive, whatever. But Why do I always get a phone call or text or whatever when I'm trying to record? I mean, what is that about? God, that makes me mad. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so what was I talking about? That's why I hate it, because it just I lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, the new Lhasa. The new Lhasa makes me like so bad to the point where I'm in bed and I can't move. Like I don't drink now, but when I used to, uh, I used to party to the point where not all the time, but to the point where I would have a really bad hangover the next day. And the way that the Neulasta makes me feel is akin to that. The headache that I get is one like a migraine. It doesn't make me nauseous, but the pain is like a migraine headache. If I lift my head off the pillow, I feel like I'm gonna die. Um, my eye sockets hurt. My like not even well, not my nose because that's cartilage, but the bones in my face, uh, my jaw, down here, like in my mouth, the bone, the bone, your jawbone, and your where your teeth are attached up here, that hurts. My cheeks hurt, like or cheekbones. Um, my spine, obviously, my shoulders, all the way down to my toes. And it's not a vague ache. It's very pronounced and very severe. And they tell you to take Claritin and Aleve for 3 days uh, before, during, and after. And in my case, it didn't do anything. The only thing that did anything was children's Benadryl and Tylenol, which I'm not supposed to take Tylenol, but I had to. That was the only thing that did anything, and it didn't even help. Like I could get out of bed long enough to like eat something and take my meds, but I couldn't perform daily tasks. Like I couldn't function like I should be able to. I couldn't even turn the TV on because my head hurt so bad, and it just it's really hard to explain that to someone, especially someone who's never been sick. And I don't know, it's just really awful. And it lasts for last time it lasted for 4 days. And I need to figure something else out because the Claritin doesn't help me. And the Aleve, they don't want me taking the Aleve because my platelets are low. In fact, I gotta go get another thing of another unit of platelets tomorrow. Um, my red cells are steady at 8. I mean, that's still low for a healthy person, but for me, it's pretty good. Um, I got 2 units of red and a unit of platelets on Thursday, last Thursday, I think it was. And I already need platelets again. So I knew pretty much that the chemo was going to do that, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be. But I hope it doesn't get any worse because my mom keeps having to miss work, and I mean she has to drive me to get blood because they give me Benadryl and it puts me to sleep. And with platelets especially, I mean it might be an hour if that. With red blood it's different, I might be able to drive myself, maybe, but still, because of the liver thing, medicine is not processed through my body the way that other people's are, that it is through other people's, because it's slowed down because of the cirrhosis, kind of like a delayed reaction. So it takes it longer to metabolize, and it would be dangerous for me to attempt to drive, excuse me, after getting uh, the pre-meds for getting blood. So my mom has to take me, and she misses a lot of work because of it. And our rent is very expensive. Our bills are very expensive. And no, I'm not asking for money. I'm just trying to put things into perspective here. We make it, but we just make it. And sometimes I have to cover her. Sometimes she has to cover me. And right now it's bad because I still gotta get my car legal. It's still not legal. Um, my I need to get my car fixed. Got the alternator and the battery taken care of, and now I have to get 4 rotors and my back brakes and an O2 downstream O2 sensor. But I don't know anything about this stuff, so I have to trust that I can get a good deal from wherever I get the parts. Because I tried to get the parts from the same person or the same company that fixed my car. And the first time, they gave me a pretty good deal on it, but the second time they tried to price gouge me. And I was like, no. Not to mention, they did something to my radio, now it won't even work. I don't know what happened because the fuse is not blown. So I'm taking it to Meineke, and I have to get my parts from Pep Boys. It seems like that's the most, or the least expensive. But doing all this stuff, I don't have the energy for it. I don't have the ability to do it all when it should be done because I'm just sick. With the chemo and the chemo side effects and the Neulasta pain and the Aranest, and then going and getting transfusions. It's really hard to have any kind of life outside of that. So I don't know. I guess that's the update, though. I nothing really to write home about as far as like my family and stuff go. Nothing new. My kid ended up getting bitten by a dog, Ethan, and by my neighbor's dog. And I'm not the custodial parent. But I mean, I was satisfied seeing the dog's tags, but I didn't know. I talked to the dog warden about it. I didn't know that just because they have tags doesn't mean that they're up to date. And in the state of Pennsylvania, you're not required to report it. Like, you're not liable if you don't report it. But it's a good thing because, the dog has to be registered as vicious or dangerous after biting, attacking or whatever, depending on the owner's, state at the time. Like, if the owner was negligent, or, if the dog attacked someone without warrant, if the person was like just walking down the street and the dog attacked them, for no reason. Depends on circumstances. But in our case, I wasn't there, I didn't see it happen. I heard it from my bedroom, from in here. My bedroom the wall is on the other side is our walkway. So Ethan's coming back from playing basketball. He's walking up the walkway, and my neighbor's trying to get into her apartment, and she had the dog on the leash, and she had her back turned, trying to get her keys, whatever, like unlock her apartment. But my son walked up on the dog and startled him, and the reaction was to bite him. And I understand that it wasn't a case that, once the dog bit him, he backed off. It's like the dog realized what he did, but, and I get he was protecting his master, I get it. My instinct as a mother was to call the police, and I tried, but Ethan literally took my phone out of my hands, and he's like, "You're overreacting." And Mom's like, yeah, I was mad. And I was scared more than anything because it was bleeding and there were 2 puncture marks or 3 puncture marks. And it was really bleeding. And I was just like, this bullshit. I was going off. And Mom said, just go over there and talk to her. So I did that, and she was nice about it and everything. And we got him antibiotics, which she paid for. And I was satisfied with that. But my ex-husband, who is the custodial parent, wanted the dog's vet records. And I told her that, and I said, there's really not much I can do about that. I'm not I don't have custody of these kids, so I have to comply with what he says. And because it happened here, it's kind of my responsibility. So, she said she'd have them by that Sunday. That Sunday came and went. She didn't have the papers. And then the next week she skipped out. And it just made me really suspicious. And I mean, there was a slew of reasons that, it may not have been about the dog. It may have been about a lot of other things I don't know. Some things, I mean, the cops were here at one point for something totally different. And, not that I live in a dangerous neighborhood. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about crime or anything. But it just, I don't know. It made me suspicious. So I called the dog warden, and he said, well, by this time, usually they put them in quarantine for 10 days and to make sure that they have no rabies symptoms. But, by this time, it was like the 20-something, I don't know, 20 whatever. It happened on the 1st, and it was the end of the month. And when I called, and he just said that, he would, I texted him the picture of the tags, and he said that he would call the number on the tags and get back to me about the vet records. So at least I had something, to ease my mind and ease my ex-husband's mind. And he hasn't yet, but that was late last week. So, the reason I waited so long to call him was because I didn't know that we had to report it. I didn't know what to do. But when I realized that she'd skipped out, it just made me suspicious. So, I mean, who knows why people do what they do, but to me, if you have nothing to hide, then, you'll cooperate. That's the only thing. And Ethan is fine, by the way. He's got scars, but he took the antibiotics and he's had no symptoms of rabies or anything like that. And it really shocks me too, because the woman seemed very concerned when it happened. And she was like, we've got to get him on this K-Flex or whatever. That was the brand name. the antibiotic for dog bites. Apparently, it's like a broad spectrum antibiotic. And she knew her stuff. She claimed to be a nurse, so I think she got the antibiotics from the doctor she works with, but whatever. I know that's like legal as hell, or illegal as hell. I'm on freaking YouTube talking about it, but I literally did not have the money to take him. At the time, I didn't have the money to take him to the ER because that would have been hugely expensive. He doesn't have insurance up here. He doesn't live up here, so and I don't know that my ex-husband would have reimbursed me, so that would have left me out for my bills or rent or whatever, And I know it seems like contradicted not being able to take your kids to the ER and then getting your hair cut, but there's a lot of difference between what did I pay for this? It wasn't $20 and a couple $100, So anyway, that was for, a lot of people want to jump, be all freaking critical and judgmental, but anyway. I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of that's happening within my family. I mean, it's just kind of like the same shit, different day kind of thing. I haven't been working, trying to hand the website off to someone else, for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I'm sick and I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm still writing, but I haven't written anything for a couple months because of, different reasons, mainly because, having multiple surgeries and being sick and having my kids here and just a lot of reasons. Trying to get into some kind of hobby. I'd like to go and find like a bingo place because I really like bingo and I want to go do it. And Mom still hasn't found a church. I don't think I'm gonna go to church because that's one of the things I'm kind of bitter about. I've been burned really badly by so many of them that I don't even want to take a chance on another one. It's like relationships, like a screw Cupid, you know what I mean? I've been burned so many times I just don't even care anymore. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste the energy on it. I don't have to go to church to be a Christian. I mean, I went to college for psychology and religion, for goodness sake, it's not that I don't know my Bible. I do. I know my Bible. I know church history. I know about the prophets. I know about Christ. I know a lot about it intellectually and academically. Spiritually, that's another thing. I mean, that's a very personal thing, and I don't think I need to confess to another person or sit and listen to someone else's opinion about or their interpretation about the Bible. I mean, I can read it myself and get the same thing out of it or more out of it than having someone else feed it to me like like I'm a child. I'm not a child. I'm a big girl and I can make up my own mind. But that's my opinion. Mom's been waiting on me, but she said yesterday she's just gonna have to do it herself because I'm obviously not going to. And I don't feel guilty. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I'm still writing. I still believe in God, but I don't know. Being 30 with a terminal illness it will change you. It will change your perspective a lot, and it'll mess with your faith. I don't care what it is that you believe in, whether it's some higher power or if it's just you, it's gonna mess with you in that way, and it's not a good thing. Some people use it to find themselves, and they use it for something positive, but I don't know why I always go to the dark side with that. I'm not a pessimist. I'm more of a realist, but I can't get past the whole intellectual thing. I think that the Bible really contradicts itself, and I think a lot of that, the reason for that is because it's incomplete. And I think the canonized Bible should have more to it, like the Apocrypha. It says I have well, I used to have it on audiobook, not anymore. And at the beginning of it, it said that well, there was a few reasons, but the main reason that the Apocrypha was excluded from the American or English Protestant Bibles was because it was cheaper to print them without it. And I know so many Protestants who avoid the Apocrypha books like they're the plague, like, they think that there's nothing to them. But I mean, I've read them, and a lot of them are about history, church history, and they revolve around Christ just like the canonized versions, and there are some too that we'll probably never read. There are some that, like the Lost Sea Scrolls that they found, we'll never read those. Not really. And then there's one that they found recently was supposed to be about Mary Magdalene and Jesus, and the documentary that I watched about it was suggesting that Jesus was married to Mary, and I mean, that would be very detrimental to the Catholic Church, especially for a lot of reasons. I don't think it would matter so much to the Protestants because, I mean, we don't have any pastors or bishops or anybody that aren't married or that are, sworn to celibacy. I mean, that would really affect the Catholic Church more than anything. So I understand why something like that might be condemned. But I mean, I'm not saying I believe that it's for real or legit. I'm just saying that I gotta question it because for one, it's there. For two, that's my faith, and for three, I mean, you can't just listen to other people who tell you that it's not real just because they have something to lose if it is. And that's why I don't take the church seriously because, they condemn the Apocrypha because if a lot of that stuff is true, then they stand to lose a lot of credibility and the church itself. And I'm talking about the Christianity as a whole. And it's not a case that, Christ wasn't real or, he wasn't a deity or whatever, but there's a lot in there that I recommend you read it and then think for yourself. Do your own research. If you're a Christian, even if you're not, I mean, it's an interesting book. The Bible itself is an interesting group of books, just to read, even if you don't believe that stuff. But I'm getting into my work a little bit here, and I told myself I wasn't going to. So I'm gonna get off here. I just wanted to update since I haven't in so long. Overall, I'm doing better. I could be doing a lot better, but I'm hoping that the chemo will buy me some time and we'll get past that dip and being transfusion dependent and we'll start to climb again and I won't be. And I'll just take the chemo and my blood levels will stay steady and Mom won't be missing so much work and I'll have more energy. The chemo itself actually gives me energy after a while. It doesn't make me feel tired or anything. First, like the first week does, maybe the second a little bit, but after that, it doesn't affect me like more like a stronger, more severe chemotherapy would. But like the pre-meds for the transplant, for example, those are like. By the way, for that, my hepatologists have cleared me. They both think that my former and my current both think that my liver can stand up to the transplant. My oncologist, who I found out is not a hematologist, well, I have two of those too. I have a main oncologist, and then I have a hematologist / oncologist in Moon, where I just came from today, who gives me my treatments and my shots and stuff like that, just because it's closer home. But my oncologist, my main oncologist at Hillman and UPMC Shadyside, he doesn't believe that my liver can hold on to it, and it's really his whole approach is really irking me because I get the impression that it's more about him than it is about me. And he's a very popular doctor, but I mean, I'm sure he's a great doctor. I don't like the guy. He was really nice to me when I first came up here for a second opinion, but when I moved up here, it was like I saw him again. He was a completely different person, and he's more controlling and demanding, and he talks down at me and he treats me like I'm the doctor, so what I say goes, and that's not me. I don't work that way. I don't have doctors who treat me like that. It's my life, and ultimately I'm going to live with it. Consequences, good or bad, I'm going to have to live with those, and I am part of the team because it is my life, and I'm not completely stupid. Now, hematology is a lot harder for me to understand than hepatology because of the blood. It's liquid and you got a lot more math involved, and I'm not very good at math. When you start talking units and blood and all that stuff, you almost have to have like a formula to figure out lab results sometimes. I mean, depending. It's got a lot more numbers to it. But as far as our goals and what we want to do here, to save my life, I've got to be involved in it because I can't just stand back and be a bystander to my own life and trust that these doctors won't make a mistake or won't wait too long or won't know the right thing to do at the right time. And I've got to know, and I've got to know what to expect too. I can't just trust someone else with my life? No. Mm-mm. I am not that type of person. I have to know. And he's the only doctor that seems to be competitive with me. As far as intellect, they all every other doctor I have here, every single one of them have commented on my intellectual capacity and ability to follow along with and do my own research on my conditions. And I mean, I'm not a genius or anything, but I do know that I have above average intelligence. And when it comes to your life, excuse me, but if you aren't following along at least, you're really stupid because you really have to be your own advocate. No one else is going to do it. And to do that, you have to know at least the basics of what's wrong with you. And you have to know what to expect with treatment and um, side effects and medication and symptoms of your disease and a whole slew of other things. And so of course I'm going to keep up with it. Of course I'm going to research it. So when they talk to me, I'm on the same page with them. I understand the terminology and I get it. And they seem to be relieved by that so that they don't have to treat me like they don't have to explain a whole lot to me, and my oncologist, the lead guy, whatever, he's the only one who seems to take offense to that. And he will even try to explain things to me, and I'm like, I already know this stuff. And he explains it anyway. So I don't know what that's about. Obviously, it has more to do with him than me, but I think I might go doctor shopping. Not in the traditional sense, but I think I may see if the director of Hillman Cancer Center will take me, because he's really good. He's actually I forget what his name is, but he's an older guy who has won awards for his research and development and clinical trials and things like that in hematology and oncology. I'm sure he's a busy doctor, just like the rest of them are there. But I at least need someone who has hematology, under their belt, and someone who doesn't treat me like a competitor. I don't get that at all. Like, I don't have the doctorate here. It's like, really, I mean, if you want to lose me, just start talking about the molecular structures of some of these medicines. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can talk about some of them because I just know so much about them. Some of them that I've been on for a while. But anyway, I don't know. So that's the thing. That's the update. I've said that 3 times now. Um, there's no date or anything on the you know transplant chemo brain. There's no date there. I guess because of the surgery on the leg, they don't know when they're gonna do that, and I got to heal from that before I can do the transplant. And we're gonna find a donor, so that won't be hard though. That registry is huge, and it doesn't need to be. I mean, as far as blood goes, or bone marrow, it doesn't need to be a relative or whatever. I mean, it doesn't need to be a relative for the liver either. But here's the thing with the liver, and this is what freaks people out. Okay, it really, the whole thing is people can't get past the idea of having their liver some of their liver taken. And it's really, I mean, if you can get past the idea of it, the surgery itself is not, the whole thing is not a big deal for the donor. It's not. The liver regenerates itself. It's the only organ that does that besides the skin. And even the skin has its limitations. I mean, not that the liver doesn't, but it less so. And I read all about this stuff. It's very fascinating stuff. I mean, to know that you have a regenerating organ in your body. It's awesome. So they take from 40 to 60% of the donor's liver, depending on how bad the cirrhosis is and no, not how bad the cirrhosis is. Totally messed that up. It depends on the health of the donor and what they can donate. It's all about the donor, how much they take. But they could take 60%, and a healthy individual who did not have any serious illnesses, okay, particularly in the immune, the immune system, if they have a healthy immune system, they could heal completely within 2 to 3 months. That's how long it takes for the liver to grow back. And those two pieces would equal in the end 2 whole livers for 2 people. In fact, I'm wondering if, and I should look this up. I'm wondering if when someone dies, like an organ donor dies, and they get the liver, they harvest the liver, if they cut it in half or something and give it to 2 people instead of just putting it in one person. That would be an interesting thing to read about, I think. But, the donor is actually out of the hospital within a week, I think. Yeah. And all of their updates, or not updates, all of their like follow-up appointments and whatever can be done with their primary doctor. And they, UPMC prefers that they come back here, but if they're not local, then they can just go to their primary doctor and have ultrasounds and make sure, just make sure that the liver's not bleeding or anything like that. And I think it's something like it's in the 90s, 98% or something like that are successful in their donation, in the donation process, meaning they don't die and they don't have serious complications afterwards. And after those 2 to 3 months, you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's your liver is growing back and you're fine. They want you to rest. I mean, you can go back to work after like 4 weeks, I think. I think it's a month. You gotta wait. I don't know. It's something like that, 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. They want you to rest, but you're not bedridden. You're not gonna be like me by far. But that's a big thing. That's the big deal, is my liver, because like I said, the hematologist, or not the hematologist, but the oncologist doesn't believe that my liver can withstand it. So we would need someone at least on standby to, go under the knife at the drop of a hat if my liver started to fail. And that would be someone, it wouldn't have to be the same gender, it would just have to be the same blood type, the same tissue type. As much of a match for me as possible, but the real dangerous stuff here is obviously, and me receiving it isn't really a big deal either. Now timing might change that if I have to have it like right after or right before or whatever. The stem cell transplant, that might actually make a difference, but the stem cell transplant is what is really dangerous because for me, not for the donor. The donor just donates blood like they would for, the Red Cross or whatever. And the hospital would separate the stem cells from the peripheral blood being like from your arms, legs, whatever. I don't know exactly how much they take. I know that stem cells are white or yellowish. Some are pink. Just depends. They kind of look like platelets. But as far as how much they take, I don't know. And I want to say they give the rest of the blood back to the donor after they separate their stem cells. Now, when they do with me is they precondition me with chemotherapy and immunosuppressant drugs. They kill my immune system so that my body doesn't reject the blood or, stem cells right off the bat. And we're afraid of that with the liver because the chemo is so strong that that's killed people on its own. During is not really a big deal because it's just kind of like an IV drip. It's not surgery. It's nothing like that. It's like a transfusion. I don't know how long it takes exactly. It's a matter of hours. And then we wait to see if it grafted. Now, it could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks or months, years. But there's a thing called GVHD, graft versus host disease. And I may do a whole video just on that because it is so dangerous. People have otherwise healthy people have a 50-50 shot just because of GVHD. I want to say, I know I'm limited in my information on GVHD. I want to say that it is actually the host's stem cells that attack the, not the host, the donor stem cells that attack the host. I think it's the opposite of what usually happens in, like an organ donation situation. But I'm not for sure. But whatever, like wherever there's a weakness, like your skin, or in my case, my liver, your heart, your lungs, it doesn't matter, your eyes, your mouth, whatever. If there's a weakness somewhere in your body, that's what will be attacked. Your immune system will attack that organ. And that depends on the graft itself. Now, the graft may not work at all, and it just doesn't work. But the blood test, if it works, the blood test will reveal the donor's blood type, the donor's tissue type. The donor's DNA will take over. I don't know if they have to be the same blood type. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of with hematology that I just don't get. But and especially with the transplant thing, it's really complicated. It's confusing. But yeah, it's really dangerous. People die from it all the time. Otherwise healthy people, and that's what we're so afraid of. Because my weakness is obviously my liver. Now, to my credit, my liver is what they call compensated cirrhosis, which means it is at the very beginning stages of cirrhosis. Like, it's just past fibrosis, and that's a good thing because that explains why it functions normally. I don't have blockage in my portal vein. I don't have, I don't have a lot of problems that other people do with cirrhosis. I don't have ascites. I don't have, that means fluid in your stomach or your, between your organs and stuff in your body. I don't have all that stuff. I'm not jaundiced. It really takes a lot for my liver to fail. After the first time, it hasn't failed at all. I mean, it's flared. The autoimmune disorder has flared like twice, I think, and I got jaundiced. Both times I got sick. It was from illness, like the flu or something. I don't know. But and stress can do it too. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're looking at. Well, there's been no dates or anything like that. And if the graft is successful and the DNA changes to the donor's DNA, it's great. And some GVHD is actually good, like a rash on my face or something like that. A rash somewhere that's not a big deal. Now that's a good sign because it's evidence that the graft is taking hold and the graft is the DNA is changing, and it's wild how that happens. But I mean, we're playing God with ourselves. But yeah, most of the time, or at least half of the time, that doesn't happen. People end up with all kinds of. It's definitely not the best cure. I mean, it is the only cure right now, and that's what my oncologist is waiting for. There are a couple of drugs that are in trials right now. One specifically, I don't know what it's called, is actually supposed to be a cure for MDS. And I don't know if it's one pill or if it's like, a pill that I would have to take for the rest of my life. I don't know if it's something I'd have to take for, a little bit of time and then I'm cured or whatever. But he has a lot of faith in that, and apparently it would not affect my liver. So it's not liver toxic. Like the chemo I'm taking now is not liver toxic. So I do know. I think he's trying to buy me time on the chemo until this pill is FDA approved, which should be within the year, according to him. So we'll see. So that's it. It's almost an hour now. If you have gotten through this, I really appreciate it. I didn't mean for it to be this long. It's been forever since I've done one. So, you guys that, if you don't talk to me a lot or whatever and you want to catch up, just give me a call or text me or whatever. Comment down here on YouTube and, tell me you want to chat, whatever. If you've lost my number or something, whatever, we'll catch up somehow. So I hope you guys have a good day or night or whatever, whenever it is that you're watching this. I go in tomorrow for more platelets. Yay. Platelets aren't that bad. It's maybe an hour. Hopefully they don't give me Benadryl though, because I don't want to sleep the rest of the day. Gotta go in at 11:30. It's in the middle of the day. I'm sure traffic will be awesome in the middle of the city like that. So I am out of here. Oh, one more thing. I got my domain name and found some cheap hosting so that I can finally do my blog. So all of these videos will be on there, and I'm gonna actually start writing for myself again. And you know, maybe do some self-promotion, do some freelance work or something like that, you know. Hopefully someone will pick me up, pick my writing up, like it, whatever. So yeah, we make some money here in the city. Anyway, so that's it. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the flip side later.